Hi, everyone. This is Kieu Tran from Studio Kieu. She is, if you joined us just a second ago before we got cut off, she's an Oakland-based artist who just launched her studio in January of 2021. And she graduated from UCLA with a Bachelor in Art History, studied art while living abroad in Germany and Italy, and like I said, launched her namesake studio in January 2021. She was just telling us before we get cut off, about her first solo show that literally just ended, and I'm so sorry we got cut off. Do you mind sharing more about kind of all of that
Yeah,
started, what the inspiration behind it, the show, and the dates of that, and all of the things that we were kind of.
just talking about. Yeah. Sorry to those who joined and already heard this, but I just had my first solo show. I quit my job in January of this year. I was a software engineer for maybe 6 years, and I had also been practicing ceramics for the same amount of time. And so the turning point for me was in 2019. I went on a 3-month sabbatical in Italy and was doing ceramics every day. And I realized that I wanted to be a creative. And so when I came back, that's what I was trying to do. So I officially quit in January of this year. And I just had my first solo show, and the show was titled Bloom. And it was inspired by all of the complicated emotions that I went through when I quit my job and am still going through. So I really wanted to narrate that discomfort of growth, but also inspire people to do the same. So I wanted to capture those emotions of stagnancy and searching for something new, and nurturing your dreams and being on the right journey, and just like realizing your full power when you commit to what you really want to do. And so the show did really well. I sold some work, I got some press, and it was a really beautiful experience for me to be able to create a body of work around a cohesive message. So,
Yes, I love that. And for anyone that's just joining in, um, Q, before she launched uh, her
studio.
studio. I'm sorry, her studio. She was living in Silicon Valley. Do you like to tell the story? She was living in Silicon Valley in 2014, learned to code, and was a software engineer. So that's where she kind of. I'll let you take the floor
Okay.
on that portion.
So I have a degree in art history, and I always thought I would be working in a museum or a gallery, but I wasn't able to find a job. And at the time, I was a secretary at an insurance company, and I just hated it. And so I was just looking for a way out. And at the time, there was this huge interest in coding and becoming a software engineer. There were a whole bunch of like these accelerated boot camps. And so I got into a really good one. I became an engineer within the year. And when I got my first full-time job, I was able to take pottery classes for fun as a way it was a form of therapy for me to have that form of expression while I learned this really difficult career as a software engineer. And it was just like the perfect match, I think, because with the software job, I was able to have the time and finance to be able to pursue a creative thing, without any real plans or like pressure.
Yeah. Uh, I found it so fascinating whenever we spoke a week ago that you had done both, and I was kind of like,
Yeah.
how on earth did that happen? But it's kind of a genius move, because you will always coding will always be a thing. So uh,
Yeah.
you know that you've always got a fallback, but you're definitely on the right track with your artwork, and it's 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 incredible. Your artwork, your sculpture, they are so moving. There's so much feeling behind them, and the organic kind of movement. I just love it all. It tells a story. Each of the pieces tell their own story, and it's so inspiring. Your story, your artwork, and yeah, I'm moved by your the entire process of what you've come up with. So can you tell us a little bit about kind of, were you always inspired by artwork? What uh, why did you graduate with and decide to take the path of art and pursue a bachelor's in art history? Were you always kind of drawn to art?
No. No, I actually thought I would be a dentist or something. But in high school, I had an AP art history class with a really passionate teacher, and it just opened my eyes to a new world. And I think art is really interesting because it's at this intersection of like expression, politics, and history. So I just really loved it. And so when I got to UCLA, it just felt natural for me to pursue that.
Wow. And then while you were working in as a software engineer, you kind of developed this interest in for pottery.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. I spent maybe 12 to 14 hours a week in the pottery studio on top of my software engineering job. So
Wow.
I was obsessed, and I would take all these workshops and classes and just practice so that I could develop the skill set that I wanted. So it was a very serious hobby.
Wow, yes.
Yeah.
Do you have work from whenever you first started till now?
I I do. I think it's more at home. But I have some wheel thrown pieces here that I don't really do anymore since I've transitioned to sculpture.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that. And
I'll show you during the tour.
okay, okay, perfect. She's going to give us a tour of her studio. So excited. A little background behind all of, just I guess how the pieces are made and whatnot. But can you give us a little bit of insight behind the inspiration behind the pieces, and whenever you're creating a new line, what does that look like?
So with the recent show, I started working more intentionally on collections of work because I had to do that for the show. So I now intentionally will work around a theme and then select designs that I think suit that. Um, but usually my creative sketching process is completely um, not associated with what I'm doing in the current moment. Like I read a lot of art books. I try to see a lot of art in person. And whenever I have inspiration, I make sketches and I just save those for later. And so when I come back to it, I can select the drawings that I like. And when I start a new piece, I know what the shape and the silhouette will be, but the curvatures and the details and the finish is all decided intuitively during the building process. And the meanings for me usually don't reveal themselves until I finish the work and whatever I need to express is emptied into the piece.
Hmm. Hmm. And so the titles of each piece, do you think of that before, during, after?
No, the titles and the meaning don't become clear to me until after the pieces are finished usually. So when I'm selecting the pieces for a collection, sometimes it's just like pieces that I think sort of go together aesthetically or might express some kind of idea, but usually I try to save those till the end because I don't know what the piece will be about.
And do you decide, how do you decide on the color of each piece? Is it just kind of like you play it by ear?
Yeah, I do. It's
Wow,
emotive.
I
Yeah,
love it. I
it's
love the whole process.
thank you. Yeah,
It's
I mean, I just have two colors right now, but usually I have like a gut feeling on what color would suit it best, and then I check with my husband, and he's a really good art consultant too.
is he?
No, he's not actually an art consultant. He just has worked so closely with me in this journey that he's like the best person for me to talk to, and because he knows me so well at this point and has seen the whole journey.
Hmm. I love that. It's a true evolution. You know, the your story, the each piece, the show, and yeah, I am very inspired by it.
Thank you, Amanda.
You're welcome. Okay, so what do you think has been your greatest challenge and accomplishment to date?
Um, I think the hardest challenge is actually quitting my job to do this full time. Taking that step was really scary, but I think the most rewarding and challenging thing was completing this show. And it was the first show I had ever done, and I only had 2 months really to put it together. So it was pretty insane. I made 12 pieces, six ceramic sculptures within 2 months, which is it's a really, really short amount of time to do that. So I I'm really proud, and it was a really intense, challenging experience.
Wow. How long do pieces usually take you?
That question is really difficult, but I mean, the shortest amount of time I could finish something is usually a month because of the creating, the drying process, and like actually firing it twice and glazing. It's a really long process.
Wow.
Um,
Wow. So 2 months. Like, did you
I
sleep?
started a little bit before. I didn't sleep that much. I had started a little bit before the residency started because I knew how ambitious my vision was, and so I
Mhm.
started some of the pieces beforehand. But I made most of them within that first month.
Wow. So it was 12 pieces. Your
Six ceramic sculptures and then a few wood pieces, but it was like 12 in total.
wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And you made most of them within the first month?
I made the sculptures um like made them in the first month, but I had to complete them, like do the firings in the second month, but I needed to complete them early so that I could like have them ready to fire in the second month.
How long does that take?
The firing process?
Yes.
Uh, it's hard to say.
Oh, it is? Okay, okay. I was just trying to like grasp all of this. You know, that's a, not only do you have to
It's
create the pieces and do that whole work, but also to design your space, the exhibit and the coloring and everything, you know, have it all set up. So that is
What was interesting about that experience was that since it was so short, I really had to trust my intuition and gut. And so I had to be super confident in everything that I was deciding because there was no time. And so I really value having that experience because it's made me a lot more confident in my abilities and my vision, like being able to do that so quickly.
yes,
Yeah.
I can see that. I absolutely see that. Um, and I also feel like that having a very short time frame like that, you come up with your best work because you don't have the time to sit there and like overthink it and you know just try to you just execute. It's just like um you kind of connect to that universal power, as you were saying, of your own unlimited creativity and just are able to like fire away. um yeah.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. Yeah, you start trusting yourself more the more that you practice and create. So,
I
yeah.
completely agree. Yeah, I have sometimes unreasonable deadlines, and the same happens. I just have to, I'm like, I rarely sleep, and
Done is better than perfect.
exactly. And I
But I
learned
like
that the
both.
hard way. I learned that the hard way because I am a perfectionist.
I am
Um,
too.
but to be honest with you, it's a curse. It's a blessing, but also I feel like more so a curse because it really has um, the you can just be debilitated by it if you don't just keep moving. So
I agree. My mindset changed more recently. Before, I used to take like 2 months to like complete a sculpture, like just build it, because I would always be going back and forth, like it's not ready, it's not done. But now I can get it down to like a week if I just like trust myself. And I
mhm,
think what helped me was just realizing that the best piece of work that I'm going to make is going to be the next one or the one after. And so I just need to start getting it out there and like moving on to the next thing. So that's what's been helping me like mentally.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gave me goosebumps because I I think that we as humans are always evolving, and our art is always evolving. What we create is always evolving and getting better and better. And I think that if we just allow ourselves to put it out there, and if it fails, it fails. If it succeeds, it succeeds, and just keep going, then that's where the real magic happens. Um, yeah, I mean, and it is clear that that happened for you this year, from January to September, opening your studio to having your first solo exhibition in 9 months is incredible,
Thank you.
absolutely incredible.
Well, I think it happened so quickly because I decided to believe in myself, and when I made that step to actually quit my job to commit to it, I feel like the universe started conspiring to bring these opportunities to me, and the universe felt like I was ready for these opportunities because I finally had the time and space in my life to receive it. So
Mm-hmm.
I truly believe that's what happened
Mm-hmm.
when I quit.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Um, I am a big believer in the universe as well. And as we were explaining, as we were discussing last week, the same kind of experience happened to me whenever I decided to quit my job at my old firm and just jump and open my design firm here 2.5 years ago. And I think that once you truly believe, everyone, we feel that urge to kind of do it, do it, do it, and then for whatever reason, fear holds us back. And once we're able to just trust and jump, that's whenever all of these opportunities come flying at you, and you just have to be ready to receive it. But I do think that we all do things on our own time and at the right time. We need prior experience to be able to pull that trigger.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay, so what would you say advice for any kind of new artist? I know you're new
I
for
just
yourself,
started.
but you're just starting, but kind of like to follow your lead and in your footsteps and to take that leap. What would you say to them?
Well, I just started, so I feel weird giving advice because I still feel like I'm figuring things out. But I do have some points. I think the first most important thing is for artists to have an established studio practice, and that may be different to everyone else. But I think it's really important that you're in a studio space and doing the job and making the space to receive any inspiration that you might receive. So I think it's important to be in the studio and treat it like a job, regardless of whether or not you feel inspired to make work, because it takes effort. So that's what I tell artists all the time. And that could be like being in the studio every day or just a few days during the week. But I think having a structure and regimen really helps me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
yeah, that's the most important thing, I think, to have that established first before you make any leaps. Um,
And
and then,
the practice too. I think that um, it just prepares you for whatever it is uh, coming your way that you know is in your future. And I'm
yeah.
sorry I interrupted. What else would you?
Oh, I had a couple points because I thought about this really seriously.
Mhm.
So the second piece of advice I would give is to not be afraid to invest in yourself. And for me, I saved up enough money to make sure that I could commit to being a full-time artist for the year. And having that security allowed me to be more um, fearless in my decisions and dream bigger and be able to just fully commit to it without having to worry about, like, will I be okay? Do I need to pick up a part-time job? Like, stuff like that. So that helped me. But I think as artists, you shouldn't be afraid to invest in your business because you are essentially a small business owner, and you need to be able to take workshops to improve your skill sets, like learn how social media works, like hire a photographer, learn how to write an artist statement. There's just so many things that are necessary, and you shouldn't be afraid to improve yourself and um, invest in yourself. So, yeah, that's my second piece of advice. And then my third piece of advice is to start building your support network in your community. And I think that's super important because nobody can do this alone, and you have to go out there and see the art and galleries in your vicinity, like locally and also beyond, and educate yourself on like what the scene is, and go out there and support other artists and galleries in your space, because you don't know who you might need help or advice from, and the only way to do that is to like go out and support these people and really engage yourself in the community and like be nice and gracious. So, yeah.
Those are amazing pieces of advice. Amazing. The
I thought
second,
about it.
yes, you could tell it was very, very thoughtful answer. So I could not agree more about investing in yourself. The very first thing that I did whenever I went out on my own was to take a social media course because I
I
had
did too.
no website, no social media for professional social media, anything like that. And then um, I also hired a business coach because I needed to be able to navigate this. Creatives are rarely great business uh, men or women, and they're and it to invest in that portion. It's but we can all learn it, so to invest in that side of your career is so important. Those two things really helped me propel in the short amount of time that I did, and also with the community. Absolutely. um the you know I've never understood being threatened by other success. I think that we should all support each other. We all have our own individual gifts to give the world, and that no one else can give. And so, having that community is empowering, um, is inspiring, and also, uh, you know, I feel like we all have space, for success.
Yeah. I
And
also have an abundant mindset. So I
yeah,
think that there's room for all of us to succeed, and it's not a competition.
I
So
agree.
because there's an audience for everybody and everybody's work. So I really believe in helping all of us like
Yeah,
propel forward together.
I,
So,
I totally agree. I mean, and you never know what is going to inspire you. Like just seeing one little thing could inspire this amazing piece. So just trying to stay on top of all of um, uh, what's current, and then what's happened in the past, and kind of melding that together to create your own magic is so important. Those are great answers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
It's, I think it's great that we both share similar mindsets on how we approached building our business and brand.
Hmm.
I think it's really cool that you also chose to invest in learning the skills that you didn't know about to help you accelerate and save that time.
Hmm.
Because I think all of us try to just do everything on our own or get overwhelmed by just the amount of things we don't know. But it's important to just start taking those little steps. Like, I was really stressed out about social media in the beginning, but I just took workshops and, slowly started figuring out what worked for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, same happened here. Like I was in, I had this idea to launch this IGTV series the very first week that I went out on my own,
That's
and
so ambitious. I love
and
it.
it took two, I know, and it took 2 years for me to actually launch. And just because that's my least favorite, you know, aspect of all of social media is to just kind of like get out here and chat face to face. It can be intimidating, but it's really not. It's a conversation between the two of us, and every time I finish a live, I am happy and inspired and just motivated to keep going. So um, yeah, it could take time. We, like I said, we all kind of operate on our own timeline, and we jump this, but I love that you invest in yourself so quickly, and that you yeah, you're, the sky's the limit for you to be able to do all of this in 9 months is a feat for sure.
I appreciate it.
Can
Thank
you
you.
show us some of your work? Can you walk us through your
Yeah.
studio?
Okay.
We'd love a little tour.
Yeah, let me just pop this. Uh, okay. So these are some pieces on these pedestals.
I
Um,
love.
this piece was from this show, actually. It's called Bloom, which was the namesake of the show, and the whole body of work was um, inspired by this piece.
Mm, it's
Um,
beautiful.
and then this piece will be in the next release. I'm hoping to release it maybe next week. So you guys are getting a first-hand look at some of the pieces.
Oh my gosh, I love the little spoon
Oh yeah.
on the edge of that. It's very like these new pieces I've seen a little bit like the stairs and the melting spoon. It's kind of Dolly-ish.
Yeah, so I've been really into surrealism lately. So I just got a book on Yves Tanguy. So I've been thinking a lot about melting things.
Oh my gosh, incredible.
So these pieces will be in the next release as well.
All of those?
Yeah.
Uh,
So
so you're quick. I mean, your show just ended.
I immediately started making pieces after my show, because that's how I relax. So I
uh,
also wanted to do a small release of work for the people who visited this show. So, and then these pieces I made in Italy, they're wood fired, but this is an example of the wheel thrown work that I used to do.
I love that.
Let me know if you want to stop anywhere. So this is my pottery wheel, which I don't use as much anymore. And then more work, my books. And then I just have like a packing station over there that's not very nice. But so this is okay, you guys are getting a sneak peek, but this is a piece that I'm working on for the next collection, and I was thinking about a dance party, and I've been thinking a lot about festivals and missing my friends. And so I think that next body of work that I'll probably finish in the new year is about the dance party that we all need right now.
Oh my, I
So
love it. Looks like there's little ballerina feet.
I love it.
It's so beautiful and dainty.
Yeah, I'm really happy. So
Will
yeah.
will you leave it like that? Is that finished? Like with the
No, so
ombre
this
kind
is
of?
This is the clay drying right now. So this is greenware. So this is just the clay, and it has to be fired twice before it's like this.
I actually love it like that.
Yeah, but
The
you can't
coloring,
keep it like this.
the coloring is insane. Oh, it's so good. I
I
love
know.
that.
I actually think this is my favorite state of the body, like greenware. I think it's the most alive at this point before it dries.
It looks
Um,
alive.
but unfortunately, it can't stay like this.
Wow,
But yeah,
they're stunning.
so that's my studio. I don't know if you want to see something else. These are also examples of my old wheel throne work.
Beautiful. And the melting kind of is, you're revisiting it because that's what it looks like there too.
Yeah, I was always drawn to these really biomorphic, sort of
Mhm.
organic forms. And even though these are thrown on the wheel, I would add the waves dirt like after. So I was always into this organic stuff. And so it makes sense that I'm doing these kind of forms now.
Yes, so beautiful.
Um,
And can you show us a little bit of the process?
I don't have anything in process right now,
Okay.
unfortunately. Yeah, I don't have
Wow.
anything in
I
process
love
right
it.
now. But they're made by hand building, so I just make these snakes, I guess coils. They're like little snakes of clay. And then I just like layer them on top of each other and blend it. But if you check out my Instagram, there's some video content of me doing it.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. I'll include all of the um, Kieu's website and her Instagram in the show notes. And oh, I love that the sign too.
Oh yeah, it's just like an LED fake
Yeah.
neon sign, but I
Uh-huh.
love it.
Me
My
too.
husband actually came up with the name Studio Kieu because he thought it sounded cute, and then he got me
No,
that sign.
it's it is it is a vibe. I love Studio Q.
It just
I think
sounds cute.
it
So
sounds like I want to be there. You know, like I want to go to Studio Q. Um, okay, so thank you
yeah,
for
I have
that
to add a
story.
disco ball.
You do, you do.
Yeah.
You should definitely have a dance party whenever you
Maybe
are.
for the next photo
Yes,
shoot, it'll be like
yes.
a disco dance party. You don't know.
I'll come if I'm invited.
That would be fun.
Okay. So for the closing questions, can you give us some people, artists that inspire you, and any new recent discoveries that you've made? Um,
This was really hard because I have so many inspirations. I mean,
give
Henry Moore, Helene Blumen. These are all like sculptors and artists who may not be around anymore. Helene Blumenfeld is still alive, but Henry Moore, Jean Arp, Archie Pankow, Noguchi, Barbara Hepworth. I just love all these people. I've also been really into Joan Miraux's sculptures lately. So he's better known for his paintings, but his sculptures I think are better. So I've been in a really surrealist deep dive lately. Yeah,
well, I'll have to check these out. The ones that I've never
it's my
heard
art
of
history
before.
background. So like I'm just like looking through.
Yes, that's it. Oh my gosh, but I bet you that comes in handy. I mean, you have so
Yes.
much experience and you've seen throughout time all of these different artists and studied that and now you're able to create your own. All of this. Okay, so we have two more questions really quick. If you could collaborate with any other creator, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
This is this is also a really tough question because I would love to work with Helene Blumenfeld. She's like Henry Moore's contemporary, and she makes these beautiful like emotional sculptures that are in marble and bronze that are just so feminine and just touch my soul. But she doesn't collaborate with people or even show with other people. So if I were to work with a more contemporary artist, I would love to work with Annie Lee Parker. She makes like these beautiful ceramic lamps and furniture. And she seems so cool. And I love that she's like this Korean Brazilian woman in the space, just like kicking butt.
I am obsessed with everything she creates.
Yeah, like the little lamps that she sources from like France and stuff. It's so cute. Like I
And
love the playfulness in her work, and I just love the way that she's built her business and runs it as well. So she's super inspiring to me.
yeah, me too. Great,
And
great.
I love her clothes.
Me too. Her style is just like it's you could see the kind of correlation between her style and her work. It's beautiful. I'm obsessed. So have you ever reached out to the first artist?
No, I just discovered her during the pandemic, and no, I thought about emailing her, but I'm still a little intimidated, but I think I will. I'll have to.
You have to, because
Yeah.
you never know, they may
Yeah.
not work with anyone, but you never know. You could be that first person that they kind of get a fire and they want to collab and
Yeah. She actually had a show with Henry Moore, and I think that might have been the only time that she has shown with someone. But she's really inspiring to me because she made me realize that my work is about emotion, because her work is really about her personal emotions as well, and I didn't realize that you could do that with sculpture, and that's what I was doing. So
okay, well, I'm putting it out in the universe for you.
it's
So
just like Helene Blumenfeld.
okay, and just keep being persistent. Reach out, keep going, and it'll happen for you. I know it.
I just want to at least meet her. So
It'll happen. Okay, and then last, anything new, exciting in the pipeline
I'm
and that the audience should know about?
well, I'm releasing a new collection of work next week. So sign up for my newsletter for early access to the work. I already showed you guys in the studio. Some of this is the work. And then the next collection will be about a dance party, I think. So just really like fun, celebratory figures. That's what I'm thinking. So a lot to look forward to.
So beautiful. I loved this chat. I'm so sorry about the glitches.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Yeah, it's never happened, and I feel awful because this is your very first live, and I wanted it to go smoothly.
It's
But
okay.
you're like a pro. I mean, you just
Oh,
picked right
that's so
back up.
sweet.
So no worries.
That's so sweet. It was just so easy to talk to you, and I'm glad that we connected beforehand. So I feel really at ease, and I feel at ease and comfortable with you. So thank you for making my first live experience like a really nice, easy one.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for coming and being a guest. I have enjoyed getting to know you. I love your work. I've enjoyed hearing your story. I know that so many people will resonate with that. Um, and continue. Please check out support Kieu and her work. I will again add everything in the show notes so that you can see her new shows, upcoming shows, and perhaps even purchase some of her beautiful, beautiful pieces. I'm so grateful for this experience and for you, Kieu, and for everyone else who joined us throughout this hour. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Amanda.
I hope you have an amazing day.
Thank you. You too. Bye, everyone. Thank you for tuning in.
Okay. Bye-bye. Thank you.